Hello students. Today we will discuss about the factors affecting photosynthesis. There are various factors, internal factors, external factors. So we will discuss how these factors affect photosynthesis. Clear whether it increases the rate of photosynthesis, whether it decreases the rate of photosynthesis. So this we will discuss today. So here are the factors. First of all, we will go for the internal factors. If we go on for the internal factors, there are various internal factors clear that affects photosynthesis. So here you can see the internal factors like the number of leaves. More the number of leaves, more photosynthesis. Size of the leaves, larger the size of the leaves, more photosynthesis. Age of the leaves, clear, more aged leaves, less photosynthesis. Orientation of the leaves, if the leaves are have this type of orientation, then the upper surface will get maximum sunlight, clear. And if in monocot we see that orientation is this pattern, and both the surface get more or less equal sunlight, so that is also important. Mesophyll cells, whether this is differentiated or undifferentiated, clear, more chloroplastid, what is the density of the chloroplastid in the mesophyll cells, amount of chlorophyll, how much chlorophyll is there in the mesophyll cell, in the chloroplastid, so that is also a very important, clear. And also the carbon dioxide concentration inside the leaf, so that is also very important. Apart from these internal factors, there are various external factors like light. If we consider light, the two important factors of light which regulates the rate of photosynthesis is the quality of the light and intensity of the light. First of all, we will discuss the quality of the light. We know that rate of photosynthesis is maximum in 400 to 480 nm, and there also 680 to 700 nm. Apart from when the light have this particular wavelength, but apart from this, generally from 400 to 700 nm, the wavelength, the light with 400 to 700 nm wavelength, is more or less effective for photosynthesis, and that is called photosynthetically active radiation, or PAR. The accessory pigment absorbs most of the light range and passes it to chlorophyll A, and so this in between the range, that is also most important for photosynthesis. But below this 400 nm or above the 700 nm wavelength, that is not photosynthetically effective. So light range should, for get to maximum rate of photosynthesis, the range will be from 400 to 700 nm. Next is the intensity. If we go on for the intensity, you will find that more the intense light, the rate of photosynthesis, if we increase the intensity of the light, the rate of photosynthesis will increase, but to that of the certain extent, clear. But after a certain extent, if we increase the light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis will not increase anymore. We can see here, this is the graphical representation, this is the light intensity, and this is the rate of photosynthesis. At first, if we increase the rate of light intensity, the rate of photosynthesis will increase, but up to a certain extent. After that, the rate will not increase anymore if we go on further increasing the light intensity. Clear? As because there may be the two factors which are for which this happens. One is the other factors limited, because light is not only the factor, there are several factors, carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll. So other factors may be limited, so the excess light cannot be utilized. And number two, excess light intensity causes photooxidation of chlorophyll A. Clear? That also will not, in that case also the plant will not be able to increase the rate of photosynthesis. But overall, if we see that, we will find that intensity is not a very much important factor for governing the rate of photosynthesis, because mostly the 10% of the light intensity which is the plants are getting is sufficient for getting the maximum saturation point. So except the shady place or the dense forest undergrowth, the 10% of the light is utilized by the of this light is sufficient for reaching the saturation point. Next is the temperature. So temperature is another important factor for photosynthesis. The two part of the photosynthesis is the first of the photochemical reaction and next is the biosynthetic phase. Photochemical reaction is not very affected by temperature, but the biosynthetic phase, which is totally regulated by the enzyme, is most affected by the temperature, because in all enzymes have an optimum temperature range which is required for the enzymatic action. So temperature is very important for the biosynthetic phase. C4 plants, in C4 plants if we see, we'll find that they have much more higher optimum temperature, as because they are the most tropical plants where the temperature is normally have a higher range. So but in C3 plants the optimum temperature for photosynthesis is comparatively lesser. So habitat is one of the important factor for determining the optimum temperature for the rate of photosynthesis. Another one is the carbon dioxide concentration. This is the most important limiting factor. Carbon dioxide concentration is the major limiting factor for photosynthesis. The C3 plant, the rate of photosynthesis increases with the increase. Normally we have 0.03% carbon dioxide in atmosphere. This percentage, if it is increases up to 0.05, the rate of photosynthesis can increase, but not beyond that. Beyond that, if the carbon dioxide rate increases beyond that, it will have a damaging effect. In C3 plants, we will find that the beyond 450 ml, 450 microliter per liter of CO2 concentration, is sufficient for getting the saturation point. But in C4 plants, if you'll see that in C4 plants the saturation point is reached at 360 microliter per liter of CO2. And so since by increasing the carbon dioxide concentration, the rate of photosynthesis can be increased to a certain extent in greenhouse, where in temperate areas, the greenhouse where there is the cultivation of tomato, chilies, pepper, bell pepper, etc., they are grown in carbon dioxide enriched condition to increase the productivity. Water is another regulating factor for the rate of photosynthesis. The water availability of water, whether the available water decreases, the plant shows water stress, the stomata closes and there is decrease of carbon dioxide supply for photosynthesis, leaves become wilted, the surface of area also decreases, and as a result the rate of photosynthesis decreases. So ultimately we can discuss that Blackman's law of limiting factor, which was proposed in 1905, that if a chemical process is affected by more than one factor, then its rate will be determined by the factor which is nearest to the minimal value. So it is the factor which directly affects the process of the quantity is changed. So the nearest minimal value, the factor which is having the nearest minimal value, will actually regulate the rate of reaction.